My name is Randi Gregg, and I am grateful to speak for a moment about how God has been at work in my life, specifically through a community that meets here at Redeemer called Moms and Mentors. In the spring of 2021, I was 3 months pregnant with my daughter, and my son was 16 months old, and we received a call letting us know that my husband Logan would be deploying that fall for a year-long deployment to the Middle East. And I'll spare you the details, but this deployment didn't follow any of the typical military timelines that we lived by. And my type A, detail-oriented personality did not have the slightest backup plan for this. Our nearest relatives are 4 hours away, and due to the lingering isolation from COVID, we didn't know many people around Redeemer at that time. And I remember thinking to myself, there's no way we are going to get plugged into this church before Logan leaves, and I felt very alone. One of the greatest desires of my heart is to raise my children in a Christ-centered home, and that my children would know and love the Lord. But as terrible twos took full swing, and my husband was on the other side of the world, it became painfully obvious that I didn't know how to teach my children about the Lord, and I didn't know how to be a godly mom. But as Matthew quotes Jesus, "Ask and it shall be given to you," and I began praying that God would bring Christian friends into my children's lives, and that he would help me to parent these little monsters that he had entrusted to me. So in January of 2022, just 2 months after my husband deployed, my dear friend Lila began encouraging me to attend a new group at church called Moms and Mentors. And anybody that shares my introverted nature will relate that the thought of walking into a room full of strangers to make small talk makes me internally cringe. But I wrangled my 2 kiddos into the car, and we showed up anyway. And I was immediately greeted with a warm hug and by people much better at making conversation than myself. Moms and Mentors is a community of moms across all seasons of life and motherhood. And there are grandma mentors that play with the kiddos while the younger moms meet and have a short Bible study. And God has used this community to greatly impact myself, my family, and my children. There are mentor mamas that truly love my children, and I could never convey how grateful I am for that. Moms that have raised their children and or their grandchildren vulnerably share their successes and failures with scriptural wisdom for how to be a godly mom. And as my eyes have fixed on the horizon of eternity, my view of motherhood has shifted from one of mundane to one of worship. And I've learned that my purpose as a mother is meaningful to God, and he deserves my faith-filled acknowledgement that my children ultimately belong to him. God has used Moms and Mentors to cultivate friendships and mentors in my life and the lives of my children. I look at how God has answered my prayers through this community, and I am humbled with gratitude. Cultivating a gospel-centered home is not an accident, and these women have lovingly modeled these skills for me. So when I inevitably fail as a mom, I know women that I can go to that will point me back to Scripture, pray with me, pray for me, and for my children. When I look at how God so quickly and intricately answered my prayers, I am very grateful. So thank you to the women that answered the calling God placed on your heart to start this community, and thank you to the moms and mentors that show up week after week. You've been a conduit of Christ's love in my life. So regardless of the season of motherhood you find yourself in, I would invite you to give Moms and Mentors a try. Sweatpants are welcome. Showering is optional. And if you have milk stains on your clothes, you'll fit right in. Thank you.